Hello, welcome back to another episode of Time Capsule Countdowns. I'm your host Jason. So I did like a little gathering of information, a little countdown of something that's kind of like nostalgic to me. Maybe some of you also. When I was growing up as a kid in the 80s and 90s, a lot of action figures was like mainly, my bread and butter. That's like what I wanted as a kid was action figures, and with them I liked ones that had more of a backstory. So, He-Man, Masters of the Universe. The card art had a little bit on the back, but it came with like a mini comic, so it kind of gave like a little backstory besides the cartoon. G.I. Joe, they had file cards on the back besides the cross sell of all the other figures you could get. It gave you like a little more connection to what that figure is, and maybe you could add to your play patterns, or you could do whatever you wanted and make the guy totally different than what the file card said. But I liked, being like, okay, well, this guy knows this and this, and so, I like that backstory. But some of these, looking back at them as an adult, it's like they're kind of silly. So some of these on my countdown are stuff's like kind of outrageous, and some of them kind of like resonates with something that I liked when I was a kid, or that still carries on today, and it's kind of like a connection to a toy line that I really enjoyed as a kid. One of my loves as a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s. So without further ado, I'm gonna get started in the countdown. But before I get started, I have one. Not really an honorable mention, but one that I always thought was kind of oddball. And this list entails the 1982 to 1994, like the original A Real American Hero line. So I went through every single file card and reread them of those, and this is what I picked out. And this one doesn't quite sit well, so it is Frostbite version 2. Okay, so this was actually my first figure, and I always thought it was silly how he wore his winter outfit when he's like in the desert. Like, he's supposed to be in the desert, but yet they didn't change his outfit, they just changed the colors of it. So this was actually my very first vehicle figure combo, and that part of the file card, I just, it doesn't make sense, like how he's, going from Arctic to extreme temperatures, but he's still wearing his winter gear. Okay, so now on to the actual countdown. Coming at number 10, we have Grand Slam. Now this one, I pretty much only like it for the last sentence. It kind of like resonates with any like adult collector or people that are in nostalgia. That's kind of like why people like this kind of thing, is to kind of escape reality for a minute, or the pressures of adulthood. Taking the number 9 spot, we have Major Blood version 1. Alright, so this one, I kind of like it for the silly little poem at the end. Major Blood, like on the cartoons and comics and such, he was a mercenary that killed people, yet he liked poetry and he did it badly, so it just didn't seem to fit together right. But it was kind of a little odd quirk that I always kind of enjoyed. Coming in at number 8, we have Crocmaster. So Crocmaster, I kind of like it how he's unstable in the file card. Almost like he's one of the animals that he trains, one of the crocodiles that he trains. Like Mutt and Junkyard's file card was kind of similar to that, but I chose this one over that one. Taking the number 7 spot, we have Hydro Vipers. Yeah, it has an S on the end of it because you're supposed to like army build them. Now this one, the handshake part kind of like was why I picked it. Leaving wet or damp spots on the furniture, basically they're not human anymore. I just thought that was kind of silly. Coming in at number 6, it's actually the same character twice. Both his file cards are slightly different, but I liked stuff out of both of them, so I'll be putting both of them up. It's Road Pig version 1 and version 2. Alright, so the version 1 file card I like slightly better. It lists all his crimes like felony spitting and all that stuff. And getting kicked out of the Cub Scouts, just off the wall craziness. And then his version 2 one, is talking about his eating habits, brushes his teeth with toilet bowl cleaner. It's just over the top, just excessive craziness, and that's why I picked these two. And at number 5, we have Storm Shadow version 2. I like this one because of the ties to Snake Eyes, kind of like shows like how they have the connection, how the fact that Snake Eyes has to ask for, his assistance once in a while, and the whole it alludes to, do ninjas actually exist? That's what they want you to think. So I kind of like all those parts of this one. Taking the number 4 spot is Snake Eyes version 3. I like this version of Snake Eyes file card the best because it ties together his military training, his ninja training, and it gives a little bit of how lethal he is, but yet he's kind to small animals. So it kind of ties all the aspects of Snake Eyes into one file card. And now we're on to the top 3. So I have Naugahyde at the number 3 spot. I like this one because it kind of has reoccurring themes of the Dreadnoks like to drink grape soda and eat a bunch of donuts all the time, but also how his hygiene habits and the fact that they say he's antisocial. Those are kind of the things just the off the wall craziness that I liked about this one. And at the number 2 spot we have General Hawk version 3. Alright, so I picked this one because General Hawk leads by example. When I was in the military, that's how I did it. If I wouldn't ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. So that's why I picked this one, because he leads by example. He's there with his troops doing what they're doing. And the overall number 1 spot, it's kind of silly, kind of out there, is Zanzibar. Alright, so the last one, again, sticking with the theme of Dreadnoks, the whole donuts and grape soda theme that they've got, and stinkiness and not brushing their teeth or brushing their teeth the wrong stuff. That's kind of why I picked Zanzibar. Even the other Dreadnoks don't like him. So I always am a sucker for the silly file cards, like the over-the-topness. Alright, and that rounds out my list. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed a little trip down memory lane, kind of reading along with me as I went over some of the key points in these file cards. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite G.I. Joe file card, either because it's crazy, because it's neat, because it's silly, because you liked the ideals or the character flaws or the character strengths on it. Or let me know what your favorite toy line was growing up and why you liked it. For instance, Ninja Turtles had their little bio cards, or the artwork on Masters of the Universe, or whatever you want to comment, and I'll get back to you. Until next time, have a good day and take care.